This week on CD-ROMP, I murder a couple robots and watch them bathe in sparks.
I hope you really did, because they deserve it. Yeah, that's better. Mabel, if you're able, keep your elbows off the table.
Yeah. Is it slowly
Welcome to
creeping up?
CD-ROMP. We're here. A brotherly stroll through the PC games of the 90s and early 2000s. My name is Bob, and alongside me, my longtime life partner.
Yes,
and
my name's
brother.
Jim, yeah.
And that's
Jesus
Jamie Boy,
Christ, Bob.
a.k.a. the Bear Man. Do you think life partner is misleading? Well, I
No.
did say brother afterwards. You are a partner in life. Yeah. I've been with you your whole life, but you have not been with me through my whole.
I've been through with you my whole life.
Years. Yeah, I know, but let's not go down that road. This week, we're playing Star Wars Rebellion. Or we already played that, and we're here to talk about it.
That is correct, sir.
And I have a feeling that we all have a lot of thoughts about it. And we're gonna get into that in a quick second. Okay. And Jim's gonna lead off with the history. First, I gotta do a little housekeeping.
Okay. Clean that house.
First,
Or keep it, I guess.
I'm gonna fix that sink, funk that funk, walk that walk, talk that talk, and do what you gotta do. Okay. Before I start the show, I would like to issue an apology. Not the first that we've done in the show. We have a list of recos going from people that are recommended by sending an email to theboys@cdromp.com or, finding me on the streets and telling me. And I accidentally attributed Roller Coaster Tycoon to Joey Bombs. But he was not the first person to reco that one, although there was a number after that. Gonzo Green, I have to give you an apology, as you were actually the first person to recommend that game. And you were actually the second person ever to do a reco. I look back at my text. When we were way back in beta.
So it wasn't a false statement to say that Joey Bombs recommended it, though.
No, that's not a false statement. But he shouldn't have got credit because he wasn't the first person.
He shouldn't have got
the pioneer.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have got Soul Calibur credit.
Or Soul Train.
So, or Soul, what? I think I did Ho Train. That Ho Train, because Soul Calibur is like Soul Calibur. Does it say Soul Calibur?
I don't ever recall that.
I feel like it does say that. Anyway, that was the housekeeping, Gonzo. I love you. Sorry about that. Secondly, we release this show every Wednesday morning. That's when it comes out. On
correct.
YouTube, on Spotify, and on the website. CD-ROMP.com. There's no email address in the website, CD-ROMP.com. So every Wednesday morning, I think we're doing 7 or 8 o'clock.
I think it's 8.
Like that Eastern. Yeah. It was 7 and then I changed to 8.
Oh, okay.
You can get fresh episodes every week. Ooh, yeah. Subscribe, follow, whatever those kind of things are. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Thumbs down us if you hate our faces. And now, housekeeping's over. Let me explain how the podcast works.
Sure.
Greetings, anybody. For this is if your first time here, sentence. If it's not your first time, you're going to learn the rules again.
You're going to learn today.
We take turns. You're going to learn today. We take turns picking a game between the two brothers. The other one does not know what they're going to say beforehand. Sometimes they don't even know what they're going to say.
Right.
Until right directly before. And then we take 3 hours, at least 3 hours over the course of the week, unless you beat the game or unless you, get the idea. You got it. I mean, once you got it, you got it. There's no point in beating a dead horse. And I feel some foreshadow coming out of your sounds right now. But we'll find out very shortly. And then we get together, we talk about it. Also, we added something new recently. Now we're recording our gameplay. So you'll be seeing, if you're watching this on YouTube, and this is actually the perfect time to mention that. If you're watching on YouTube with your eyes, you'll be seeing gameplay footage while we're talking. I'll pepper it in as appropriate as we go. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, etc., so far, wherever the fuck people listen to podcasts, you'll have to use your imagination, but we'll try our best to describe it. We can use sound effects from games, but I think we can't use music from games because we'll get copyright immediately. Stricken from the record.
You know what we could do? We could actually just recreate the music ourselves.
I swear to Grodd.
Yeah, Grodd. Yeah.
To General Grodd. This morning I was thinking of that because we're playing a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
And there's something very iconic that happens at the beginning of every Star Wars media thing.
Yeah, it goes
called the crawl. Wait a second. That doesn't sound right. I think it's dun 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 dun.
You're right. Sorry.
The Star Wars dun. Copyright stricken. But Jim, we can actually do that once we get up to the point. Before we can start talking about what happens inside the game, whoever picks the game is obligated and obligatized
Obligatory.
to gather history and interesting morsels about the game in question. And my friend, James, has hopefully cobbled together a Home Depot bucket full of information for us
some
about
good
this
buckets.
game.
So
Please.
Published by
ready to learn.
LucasArts. Not surprising. They made a bunch of games, Star Wars related games,
And the Star Wars movies.
and product. They also
Most notably.
were how do I call it? An ancestor, not an ancestor, a prodigy,
Predecessor?
progeny of what's the company that made Monkey Island? Didn't they go on to start LucasArts, or what's his name went to LucasArts? I keep forgetting your boy's name.
No, I think LucasArts was now I can't remember how the hell it started, but I think that game's from LucasArts.
Yeah, I think I think
I think they were
dude
working on
went
games
to go work for LucasArts. I keep forgetting
You're
your
not talking
dude's
about
name.
Ron Gilbert.
Sorry, Ron Gilbert. Yeah,
You're not talking about Ronnie G, right?
RG.
He is the CD-Ron in CD-Ron.
Yeah, he is Ron. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Ron.
It's their mascot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how that studio started. I think they were making games for someone, like on license for someone, and then they were like, "Hey, you guys want to just like start our own studio for us and make games for us, and then like we'll do more than Star Wars games." That might not be factually accurate.
Yeah,
but you're the history guy.
No, that's not. No, that's beyond my purview.
Okay, it's beyond the scope. Yeah,
I could. So that was the publisher, right? Makes sense. It's a Star Wars game.
LucasArts,
It was developed by Cool Hand Interactive,
I saw that.
and this is the only game they made.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I could tell you, I'll tell you some people involved. Not that it really matters too much. It might matter
if they're listening. It definitely matters to them.
So accredited to this, the programmers.
Sure.
There's like 6 programmers here.
There was a lot of intro
Sim
credits.
Dietrich, Martin Levisi, Lee Marshall, Michael Mortimer, which is a great name.
Mortimer
Tom
is
Park, Hugh Sider, Daniel Von Olst, and Scott White.
Jim, I didn't get to give my Mortimer trivia fact.
I know. No, too bad.
Let me do it.
Mortimer, I barely know her.
No. Mortimer was the original name for Mickey Mouse that Walt Disney wanted to use, and his wife's like, you shouldn't do Mortimer.
Oh, those are also the diamonds that are in the guy's vodka. Crystal Skull vodka.
Fathead Jones. Yeah, Dan Aykroyd. He's got such a big head. Yeah,
the Mortimer
the
diamonds.
Crystal Skull vodka.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, thanks. I've been working on it. By that I mean what once in a while.
So the attributed director, I guess director of the game, head of the game or whatever, is Scott White. Scott Whittle. White? No. Witte. Sorry. I couldn't tell if that second T was an L or a T.
You're reading people's names. They're called Scott Whittle, Scott White.
Whit.
I
don't know how to pronounce it. It doesn't give you like a
I think only the Whittles know. Really.
Yeah, this came out in 1998.
If you're listening to that, we apologize.
I actually don't apologize.
Jim, we're gonna get a thumbs down now.
Why? I was sight
across
reading.
if you're Scott Whittle and you open up this podcast,
if you're Scott, no. First of all, if you're
Scott Witte, if you're Scott Witte,
you don't even know.
You're opening this up and you're like, you know what? Man, somebody has finally recognized Star Wars Rebellion, a game that should have never been made.
Excuse you. Excuse you. You just jumped the horse here and get a little.
No. Oh my God, my keyboard is typing H's right now.
That's amazing.
Like crazy. Oh my! How do I stop it?
Unplug it.
Oh my fucking God!
Just
it's
unplug
typing
it.
H's. This is outrageous.
This is why you shouldn't have bought like some jank ass keyboard from eBay.
You're the one that fucking recommended the keyboard for me. You literally handpicked it for me. No. So I don't want to hear that. It's Duragod. You said that was like a thing people get.
It is a thing people get. I mean, it's good for the money.
Should I get for my next keyboard?
What's
a name that's like a. The kids on the street can be like, oh, is that a Duragod?
They're not gonna say that.
No, I know, but like. What's one? Do you have to get like Razer? What are the cool kids type
So
on?
I guess the more recreational stuff you can get like a Corsair.
I'm into recreational
or a Logitech
keyboards.
Or Cooler Master makes keyboards.
You said Corsair?
Too.
Really?
Corsair makes all the peripherals, and they make
memory.
They make memory. They make built computers as well.
Wow. Do their keyboards type H's by themselves?
Oh, they could type them so fiercely.
Big time. Big time. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's my fault. Let's get back to Scott Whittle.
We can cover keyboards another day. Scott Witte. Yeah.
Yes. Wu-Tang.
So the game came out in 1998, which was before the prequels. So this game is just about the first 3 movies.
Jim, why don't we, when we go over the year of the game, why don't we mention at the time how old we were? I was 10.
So it's supposedly March 25th, 1998. So I would have been 6.
And I was 10.
Okay.
At that point, I was 4 years older than you by calendars. But the same amount,
but not actually
science.
By calendars.
Yeah, I know. No,
it's
but
the same amount regardless of the month.
No, but if you're using just the year, digit, math, calendars,
right?
At that point in time, I was 4 years older than you. So that's important to note while you're reviewing this.
I don't know. The people listening can't see my head in my hand.
So yeah, I was 10 years old when this came out, and James was 4.
No, 6. Dingdrat.
You damn Whittleman.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, if he's listening now, he's really going to double thumbs down.
Maybe now he likes it because
he's going to double dog dare
times.
you. What the hell was I going to say? Yeah, so this is just about like the first 3 movies, essentially.
Okay.
I don't know when it's supposed to. I think it's just supposed to be like an offshoot, like a standalone. It's they make reference at one point talking about destroying the Death Star.
Yeah, I think it's between the first and the second and third. Well, fourth and fifth and sixth, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because as you said, they mentioned right after the Death Star. I guess this is probably the perfect time for me to mention, although it's kind of forward mentioning. They used all things from the game, the movies and the books, which I respect. It's all canon. They didn't just make shit up.
From what I understand.
They kind of pulled on from sources that already existed, so that's pretty cool.
So we could talk about how the release and the reception.
Yes, please.
So this game was very poorly received. I have
by
here
others than just us.
From Game Rankings said LucasArts should start looking more closely at what it slaps the Star Wars brand on, as consumers will be less likely to forget or forgive.
Damn, Whittleman. That must have been not
the game
easy
was
to
supposedly the 18th best-selling computer game from January to November of 1998. So that's still.
Do we happen to have?
I don't have the other 17. With me.
All right. Next time, let's try and remind both of us to try and get like what are the best-selling games for that year, so we'll know. Eventually, we'll just have it committed to memory. So I'll try and remember to do that.
I didn't get that information. It wasn't like whatever. The game won the award of most disappointing game of the year, and was also nominated for Underachiever of the Underachiever Award by IGN.
That one I take a problem with, and we could talk about it later.
Okay, sure.
All right.
That's pretty much all the information that there is. It went like this developer, like it doesn't exist anywhere. They made no other games. There's no other information about the game.
So Cool Hand, is it Cool Hand Luke or just Cool Hand?
No, Cool Hand Interactive.
Cool Hand Interactive. So they developed the game and they published it through LucasArts.
Yeah, LucasArts.
I really got to take some time and look into. I think publish it just means.
No, I think
they get a cut and they help distribute.
Yeah, I think back then it was a lot of distribution, and I think because maybe these days I don't know a lot. You watched the Fez movie more than I did. I think now it's more of like their like branding can like help push the game instead of physical distribution. It's more like awareness, you know?
Yeah, back then, like because you had to actually physically put a game out, like you couldn't just get a spot on a store in like CompUSA. Like the bigger publishers already had areas kind of like reserved, or because of the relationship, the stores knew that their games would sell, so they put them on the shelves and they got better shelf space. It was like this whole thing with shelf space.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And that's why the companies would work with publishers, trade a cut, unless you really were slapping them cheeks and making them sales,
right.
boy.
Unless you're clapping sales cheeks.
A lot of clapping.
So yeah, you want to talk about that? That's pretty much all I know about the game.
History.
And it's kind of like an RTS in that it's like instead of controlling like armies in the traditional sense on the battlefield, it's like even a step further backwards to where you're like the general of an army and you have to conduct like the overall strategy of your attack. Is that a better description?
I think that's really giving it more credit than it deserves.
So why don't you go over your experience with the game, and then I'll tell you.
Now I'll tell you how it was for me. Okay. So again, another one of the rules of how we play this game is that because Jim did the history, I'm going to start off with my experience, and then he'll add supplementary information from his experience after. That's the back and forth. Okay. Let me go because I actually have notes here. The game begins. Okay, so okay, it's got a classic crawl. At this point, you're like, all right, we're doing good. I actually sat through and read the whole thing, which I always do for Star Wars type stuff. The crawl you'll probably be seeing on screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. Then there's like 45 minutes of credits. There's so many people. I've never seen so much intro credits in a video game like this. For some reason, it just seemed very unusual. Like in movies, yeah. But in games, it like really full screen. There's like 5 names, and then like
this must have been their like crowning achievement.
Well, I think at the time they thought they were crowning the achievement.
Yeah, they were crowning a dookie out of their fucking
slap cheeks.
Not to foreshadow.
And so the first thing that happened. Well, my second note is a lot of intro credits, right? And during this point, there's like ships going by. All you really see is like space and some ships. The graphics are like okay. 3D graphics, not too noteworthy. A lot of gray going on. First thing that happened
for
to me,
1998, I thought they were good. Sorry, let me let you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no worries. I'm having trouble figuring out what's good for the time. That's why I'm saying like I need to have references of 98. What are the big games in 98? You know what I'm saying? So I can know what's comparable. Yeah, get my.
I just use my head movies
because I don't even know anymore. I'm so goddamn confused. We played so many games, loving it though. Anyway. Okay, first thing that happened to me, goddamn fucking mouse wasn't working. It wouldn't get onto the screen I was playing on.
Bob, so I had the same problem.
It refused to play the game, and now I have 3 screens, and I don't remember if I turned them off or not. The other 2, but it didn't seem to matter. Because then I just had no mouse. So then I turned the other 2 screens on. And I had to do all kinds of alt tabbing and task managers and all kinds of shit to get the fucking mouse to get onto the screen. So that's already and the fact that you had the problem too, like, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. Who's QCing this for Steam?
Well, no one, first of all. They're making... It was a $5 game. I mean, that was made.
Even still, there's a lot of good games for $5.
Yeah. Probably Super Meat Boy.
Super Monkey Meat Boy. Okay, so I finally got it going. At this point, you're looking at it's like you're in the not the cockpit, the like not the hull, like the
dick pit.
Yeah, no, it's like a cockpit but like bigger. You're in there. You'll see it on screen.
Bridge.
Which I'll watch. Yeah, the bridge. It's like a small bridge, and there's all different options with nothing explained. There's all the different buttons, and I'm clicking my way around. And some things seem like they're doing nothing. But finally, I figured out how to kind of like start a new game. There's 2 game types. Can't remember what the fuck they're called. Like normal and then like base victory. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that does. So I'll do normal. So start the game by picking Empire or Rebels. And I picked the Empire.
I knew you would. I picked the Rebels.
I figured that you knew that I would do that after my whole not being a pussy speech. And so that was like, okay, this will work good. Okay, I have Empire intro.
Basically, let me cut you off. I basically know you're going to pick the bad alignment after your lifelong regret of not picking the Horde.
Yes, this is true. It covers my day-to-day life.
No, I know. So that's, like, that's how I know.
Can you mind handing me that? I go, no.
Sorry, I'm still in Stormwind in my mind.
I'm an asshole now. I don't do nice things, all right? I'm a bad guy. I have Empire Impro pretty sweet. I can't remember if Vader was in it, but, you know, the Imperial March is there and shit, so that's cool. And then you get to the main screen of the game, which I wish wasn't the main screen of the game. Also, I wish most of the things of this game weren't in this game. But the game starts out, you have this big screen that shows you the galaxy. You have all little, like, computer screens like you'd see on like a Star Wars ship, like around, smaller. And then you have a little robot on the side, which is different depending on the faction you chose. So Jim got C-3PO and R2-D2 as his 2 robots. I had this droid that I didn't write his name down, but he was red. I don't remember what his name was.
Red
it wasn't
2D2.
the kind of droid that Red 2D2. It wasn't the kind of droid that I knew already. And he's talking and he's talking and he's showing me things and things are changing on the screen and he's talking and he's fucking talking and it just doesn't stop and you can't skip it. Okay, so here's something to note. This is the game, right? And when you go to leave it to start another one, like let's say something happened and you died and you want to start a new game, you can't get past that little intro where he talked for 40,000 hours. You can't skip it. For whatever reason, you could skip normal stuff, but his explanation, even if you've played the game 35 times, you have to endure it, which seems ridiculous to me. But anyway, so that's going. And then I try playing the game and it's fucking confusing the shit out of me. I'm clicking around. I can't figure out anything. Now, at this point, I said, I'm going to adapt a strategy where at first I play a game. I'm going to try kind of intuiting myself like Jim does. Then I'm going to pick up the manual. And as I've mentioned before, and I have no shame about this, manual reading time, I count as game time.
You didn't mention this before.
Yes, I did. If you go back, you'll see.
No.
Time I spent reading the manual counts as gameplay time. And I enjoyed reading the manual about the same, well, maybe even more than playing the game. Anyway.
Oh my God.
So there's one thing about this game that actually is really cool and which the game should have just been. And there's an encyclopedia. And every single goddamn screen in the game, which has a series of like little windows to help you see everything and what's going on, has a link to the encyclopedia, which is a little ridiculous. We don't need fucking 10 million links. Like, just have an encyclopedia button. But as you'll see on screen here, the encyclopedia has all kinds. Each person, place, thing has an entry in the encyclopedia, and this will teach you about what you need to know about the whole world and the characters and the ships and everything about them, stats, background, blah, 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 blah. And it's pretty cool because like some of them I hadn't heard of, and as going through it, I know they're like, oh, these are actually, legit names. Some of them I hadn't heard about. So that was cool and probably already is a game. I'm sure there's a Star Wars Encyclopedia game. But anyway, this game and how it works.
Oh, like the remember we had that actual encyclopedia game? Yeah, Encarta 95.
Encarta 95. It's not really a game. It's just
but you get to
everything
like, see
was
penguins.
just
like, they split it up by the different biomes.
How Jim defines a game? Can you see penguins?
Do you remember there was like the tropics and like the Arctic? They split it up by like biomes.
Yes, and you could click around the screen and blow up the things.
When are we playing that game?
Encarta 95? I don't know. I mean, I think I would enjoy it more, honestly.
All right, someone request it.
Someone would recommend that. Yeah. So I think that's when QuickTime first started as well. I remember seeing the little videos. I was like, holy fuck. Look at that video of that Arctic fox.
Yeah, Arctic fox.
That shit is real right there. Yeah, so this doesn't have any kind of live action video like that. Although I'm very sure that QuickTime was already around because Myst used it, and I think Myst was 93. Anyway, look at me. I'm learning a couple things. So the way the game works is, first of all, let me just say that this game is a board game. Basically. And I found it accidentally that it actually is a board game.
Yes.
Now, I didn't look up whether the board game came first or second.
No, I don't. I didn't look that up either. But
But it is a straight up board game, which now doesn't surprise me because it seems like it could have just been a board game. Anyway, you have one main screen and it shows you the whole galaxy, which is kind of cool because all like
it shows you the universe, really.
The universe, and then all the different galaxies. Sorry, I'm getting my
essentially. It's a galaxy with star clusters, I guess. I don't know how exactly they define it.
Jim, Neil deGrasse
solar systems is
not going to come here and correct you.
I don't know,
but you know what? I take that back because the viewers of this show are most likely science-minded, standard nerds, let's say, and they're going to want it to be.
Because I think they call them like star systems, maybe.
What do you call it? In the manual, it's so funny. They're like, all these different star systems, we'll just call them systems for now.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got planetary systems, whatever. Okay, there's a big screen. There's a bunch of little clusters. If you click the cluster, it opens up and you see all different planets. And then the planets have a certain set of icons around them showing vehicles, mines, and defenses. And the idea of the game is, you're one faction, the computer's the other faction, although for some fucking reason in the world, this was multiplayer, so you could have played against your friend over the internet.
Yeah.
I'm sure people did. And let me just take a quick pause real quick. I think that there's probably people out there that got really into this and really enjoyed it and had a great time. And I'm very happy for them. but I want no part of it. I think the developers who made this game really loved it, and I think that nobody was supervising them, and I think they got way out of control, and they made this whole game that they really enjoyed, but then no one's like, what are you guys going to add the fun? Because we do need some of that.
Well, no, Bob, it's plenty of fun.
They went insane with stats and statuses and days. Anyway, I keep interrupting myself. The point of the game is to control, there's like, you have a series of checkpoints that you have to accomplish. Most of it is about controlling the whole galaxy by either getting the favor of the different planets by diplomacy or by explodemacy. And then also capturing enemy bases and stuff like that. The way the game plays is reading.
Yeah,
for 95% of the game is you do something incredibly difficultly, clicking a million things and be very confused. And then eventually you'll get a notification and read a thing and look at a picture, like a book, like a board game book and sounds.
Okay.
I have more notes, but you see like you want to say something. I'd love for you to.
Well, no, we can switch over to my experience if you like.
Okay.
All right. So I played as the rebels.
Yep.
Which it was really confusing for. So yes, we start out, and I have the same experience that we start out in like the cockpit or whatever, and you choose the faction you want to be. And I was like, all right, let me pick the good guys.
Yeah.
Which,
well, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist, Jim.
Yeah,
I know. Say the good guys,
but you know, right? in keeping with the movies.
Rebels. Yeah, right. The rebels. Yes.
And so yes, my Cantor, the person who's telling the story to me is C-3PO.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yep.
And
human cyborg relations.
Yeah, and R2D2.
Is he a protocol droid?
Yeah.
Does he know bocce? Bocce was my first language, something like that.
So yeah, you fucker. So he does this whole exposition of like 30 minutes, like telling this how this, and like I have written down, I'm like, this is
He's
so
only like
much fucking information.
Exaggerating, yeah.
Like it was so much. And like he kept going for like 15 minutes, just talking. This does this, and this does this, and my attention span went out the window, and I stopped listening after the first 30 seconds.
And you can't skip.
My full attention is towards how do I skip this?
Right.
And so now I don't know how to play the game.
How many H's were being typed at the time?
Not that many. I don't have, my keyboard doesn't have that functionality. I got a substandard model.
The turbo H button.
Yeah.
Yes. How was the impression of the voice of C-3PO?
So I'm going to get to that if you give me a gosh darn second.
Please, I'm sorry.
It was a terrible impression of C-3PO.
Human cyborg relation.
It was not even like yours was like maybe as good as theirs.
Wow, and that was not a good one.
Yeah. And so it got really annoying because he talked to me nonstop all the time.
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah. So what I found after the second session of playing this game, what I really realized is that it's just checking your email simulator.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just, well, especially because I figured out how to turn up the speed of the game.
Right, yes.
So I turned it up to fast mode because I'm like, what are we doing here with slow mode?
Jim, let me tell you that, and I'll get to, because I have a section about the manual, but the manual mentions, hold on, where I have it here, that you could turn up the speed, but you could also turn it back down if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed with the amount of action.
Let me tell you,
the action is just
it
too
was actually a lot to keep up with.
Reading.
There's a lot of reading to keep up with because I was getting notifications every second. Like
constantly.
An enemy attack has been thwarted. An enemy attack has been thwarted. And then it's like, Master Luke has a letter for you.
What does this fucking guy want?
I know. And then, but so for my first session of playing the game was about maybe like 45 minutes. I didn't know how to play. And I didn't know what to do because I wasn't listening to him at all. So it
wouldn't have helped.
So I really didn't know how to do anything. When I send you my gameplay footage, you're gonna see that I was just furiously clicking on so many things, and I didn't know how to accomplish anything.
I did pretty much similarly, but probably a little slower.
I was just clicking on. I was like, all right, how do I do something here? And eventually, I realized that you have to like click on a people and get them and give them like a mission. But like, it doesn't tell you what missions they're allowed to do. Sometimes he just goes, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah, I got a lot of that. Like, it seems you're not understanding that you can't do that.
Yeah, it's like different operatives have been appropriated to these tasks or something. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. So eventually I realized that like you have to have a system, you have to have something in that system already to do any sort of operations in that system. Yeah. And towards the end of me playing, so this is like towards the end of my second session, I should say, I finally figured out, or he sent me a specific message of how to get people to go into a new system.
Right.
Which is you have to send like a deep space Y-wing to go over there, and then you can set up operations.
But you don't have to do, well, you know what? Fair enough. I was the Empire, so I don't know. But I think that's the way that you start exploring to build or something. Because I found not too far in that you could just move all your ships to a neighbor, to like another planet.
Well,
you click on the ships, you click move, and then
I found that out after a few hours, yeah.
But it's so stupid because like it'll immediately move, but you can't do anything because it's actually in transit. Yeah. And you have to open it up, look at the status, see what the status is because it tells you what day it's getting there. There's time in the game. And then you have to look to see what day it is now, and then math in your head. It doesn't just say 10 days left, 20 days left. Nope. Got to do the math. Like you have to love math and numbers.
No. I just wait for the email.
It feels like I'm playing a text-based game. Like I remember in college, I did an internship where we were helping this lady with her text-based games. And it feels like I'm doing it, but with pictures. Like it's a text-based game with pictures. Because let me tell you, that description about like that, it's two different genres. And, you know, you're figuring out the fleets, but sometimes you're in a battle.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this fucking battle system, okay? Every so often, when you're moving around, you'll encounter the enemy. And you know you're in fucking poor shape when it gives you an option to not even do the battle.
Yeah.
So
well, no, I always got that option not to do the battle.
No, that's what I'm saying. The fact that you're given the option. You know what? Fucking fine.
Well, yeah, some people just want to do the strategy.
We'll do the battle.
They're not into the dog fighting.
Yeah. So
because it was pretty intense battle.
So you have the options you're looking at. You can click on like do the fight, run away, or like just we'll do the fight for you.
Yeah.
Which by the end I was doing every time. Okay. So at this point I'm like, you know, the world is my oyster. All right, we made it. We fucking found a fight. Now we're going to get some fighting. This is a multiple genre game, I've heard on the last episode of cdromp.com.
Yeah.
Jim had read me the description. So you open it up and I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? So there's space, a lot of it. And then I see a little sliver of some glowing reddish thing on the corner of my screen. And I'm like, the fuck is this? Where's the fight and bad guy? So I start clicking on all the buttons to try and figure out what the hell is going on. Eventually, I find out how to turn my screen, my view towards my ships. And I'm like, well, this must be broken because there's no textures. It's like
it's completely unrendered. Like
it's like reddish. I don't even know how to explain it. Lasery type material shapes. Okay. Eventually, I hear the bad guys show up, the X-Wings, which are you. Well, not actually you, but, you know, you and your boys. And then the fighting begins. And then I desperately try and find the right buttons to make the fighting start happen, which eventually I think I do. And I see the little X-Wing reddish shape flying around like a little fly, moving around, no lasers. I hear sounds.
Get a dog, little Augie.
I zoom all the way in to see what's going on. And my mind could just not be more blown. At the time, I just assumed that it's broken.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I feel bad because I'm taking the piss right now, but it's clearly broken because this looks entirely garbage. But then I realized when reading the manual that it says it's like a holographic representation of the battle.
Oh shit! Really? It's supposed to look like that?
Yeah, you're on a hollow deck. You're looking at a hollow deck, not so the real battle.
They didn't have the ability to fucking do it, so
they really fucking phoned it in on that one. Like you'd be better off using 2D graphics.
So it
took me a goddamn battle.
Yeah, it took me a bunch of encounters to figure out even how to give orders to these ships.
Yeah. The buttons don't make any sense. There's you can hover over them and they'll give you tooltips of what you can do, but it takes a little bit of time and like, just fucking put the words on the screen, please put the word. And there is no word attack. Everything's got to be incredibly complicated. You have to do like attack, formation, hammer.
Yeah, no. What? So I lost every battle that I was in.
Really?
Yeah, no,
I
I
didn't lose
never.
all of them.
No, I lost all of them. So yeah, eventually I
very
figured out
unfortunate,
how to
actually.
give people missions. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, we're going full frontal here,
Yeah.
full penny. So I like found everyone I could. I start sending them out on espionage or diplomacy missions.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea.
And the Chewbacca guy gets captured, and then the
now,
Leia.
is this the Chewbacca?
Yeah, and then like the Leia girl gets like captured. And then,
Do you mean
like,
General Organa?
Yes,
Okay. Just checking on that.
I do. The adopted daughter of a senator.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
A real son of a bitch.
And then like the Han Solo guy gets like captured. Eventually I started like, losing all these air battles, and like they start taking over more bases. And eventually I'm down to just one planet. It's me
Was it
against,
Yavin?
it's me against, no, I lost Yavin. I was somewhere else. Oh no, I think my
Yavin's
base
where,
might
like,
have been
the
Yavin.
rebels
I
start
can't
out.
remember.
Yeah. Did you go to the Dagobah system?
No, I don't even,
Dagobah system. How about Dantooine?
yeah, Dantooine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was there.
Hi, I'm Dan. Dantooine.
Yeah. So I got down to like just like the rebel headquarters. And
Yeah.
and now I'm like, okay, no, I know how to do it now. I know how to do the long range extender. I got to use the Y-wing and go. And I'm like trying to figure it out, but I can't select the planes that I want. I don't have any planes or any people left. Everyone's captured.
Jim, they're ships, Jim. You're an admiral.
Whatever, space
and they're
planes.
ships. They're not planes.
And then like I get to the point where it's like there's cinematics and it's showing the base, and and then R2 and C3PO are like, they're attacking us. They're attacking our whole base. And there's a cinematic of them fucking bombing our whole planet.
That would actually have been nice.
And then after that, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, but we're good, right? And then there's like a further cinematic, and I'm back in my main home screen, but it takes away my controls. And it's them talking to each other about how now that they found us, and they're shooting like shit at like the UI, the user interface.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
And there's fucking the whole building is like exploding around them. And then
Wow.
they're like, what do we do, R2?
Wait,
And
everyone's
they're
asking R2?
No, it's just
The guy
them
who
two in there.
beeps?
C3 is asking him. And
Yeah.
the fucking sparks are flying from the ceiling. The building's
Yeah.
exploding. And they're like, I guess we got to get out of here.
We got to cheese it.
Yeah. And,
Get out of here, R2.
and then it gave me this whole long end sequence of how I lost the game.
Man,
And there was like a scroll of like how you lost and how it was mismanaged. Yeah, it was a little demoralizing. And they're like, oh, the rebels are down, but maybe not out if we try it again or something like that. And I was like, well,
Let's
fuck
give
you.
it one more go.
Yeah, I was like, fuck you.
Interesting thing about Chewbacca, before I forget about this, it mentions in the manual that things will just like happen on their own, even on your team. Like at some point, Luke goes to the Dagobah system. Following the movie, he just goes.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
just
yeah.
there. The movie is just happening. And at
No,
some point,
at one point
Han,
he's like-
Chewie, and Leia go to Tatooine.
I
Which
didn't get that far in the game,
I'm
but at some
hoping
point,
is where
a few
Jabba-
times I got notified that like we've detected a new possible Jedi,
Interesting.
but I was like, but I don't know how to go anyplace. And then there was another time where he's like, I'm gonna go train with Yoda, and then they sent me a picture, an email back of him with Yoda on his back, and he's like, I'm a better Jedi now. He came back, and he's like, now I'm level Master Jedi, and I'm like, what the fuck you want me to do with this?
It's like a note from summer camp.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was.
I went to be a Jedi.
I went to
with Yoda.
Jedi camp.
I'm a better Jedi now. I didn't even know you left, bitch.
Yeah, no, at the time I didn't know he was a playable character.
Yeah, you can move him around, make him do all kinds of Jedi
Yeah, also,
things.
the first time I played for like 45 minutes, I told you, and then I forgot to save. So the second time I played, I had to listen through the C3PO thing again. And then I lost the game, so I had to play again, and I had to listen to the C3PO thing again.
Why wasn't that skippable?
The second and third time, well, the first time I didn't pay attention, right? But the second and third time, I just walked away from the computer.
That's a good idea.
And
I actually thought about letting the game play itself and doing that walking away.
I did. That kind of happened to me because I didn't know what I was doing. So the game happened around me. And eventually I was actually, because I got so many reminder emails because I was losing the game so badly, that C3PO was like, I can do some of these things for you.
Right, yeah. I was just going to mention that. So the game allows you to play itself, really.
Yeah.
And I think the game's actually happier playing itself.
Well, he
It's
was
kind of
doing
like
all sorts
the-
of manufacturing and like things I didn't even know how to look at. He's like,
for the
you've got a
fucking-
letter from the manufacturing plant on Dan's taint or whatever it's called.
Hi guys, it's Dan.
Yeah.
Tax collector.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things are going good in the mine.
Yeah.
Just got a new kind of spice.
So
going on.
I'm a better Jedi
Paprika.
now. Yeah.
Who the fuck asked you to send this email, Luke? Go do something.
Oh my
Jedi
God.
like.
I was getting so many emails about all of these planets that are joining the Empire, and I'm like, I don't care. And it gave me the same email.
Well, that's probably your problem. Jim.
It gave me
You're
the
supposed to
same.
care.
I got the same email if they joined the Empire or if they joined the Rebels. You'd open it up and it would go, "Yay!" No matter what team they joined.
Jim, that absolutely can't be right.
You'll get sound, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah. That can't be factually accurate.
It's
you can't
true.
be happy about
They
them.
were like throwing their
'cause
cap
maybe
and
it's-
gowns up in the air. They were so happy. They're in the town square.
Yeah, you know, you might be right because I think for every picture there's a sound, and the pictures are the same for the Rebels and the Jedi, so they're happy that they are now, you know,
Yeah, they picked a
Empire-like.
side. Yeah.
They're empirical with the Empire.
Yeah.
One thing, I jumping around here as we often always do. The manual is like also enjoying itself a little too much, and even the wording just gives you a vibe. It says like, "Oh, you don't have to be a tactical expert, nor does it assume you're a Windows 95 expert." Nor does it assume that you're a Windows 95 expert.
It
Because
shouldn't
it's
assume
like,
that, yeah.
I think what it is these manuals were sometimes for people who this is their very first computer game.
I mean, yeah.
So
I
now
assume
you're
a lot
this-
of games around that time, or a lot of people.
Yeah. So they're picturing this Star Wars fan, nerdy guy
Yeah.
or gal, okay? Or non-binary, a nerdy star person, right?
Star Lord.
They get the game. Yeah, they get the game at this point. And they're like, oh, yes. The rebellion is at hand. We're going to play this. But wait a second. I'm not,
I'm not an
Windows 95.
expert. Oh, no. What do I do?
What does DOS mean?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This manual has assumed my expertism.
Jim, this manual is 167 pages long.
Holy shit. No wonder there's a 30-minute intro every time you play the game.
Yes. One of the lines from the manual says, "This time, as you peruse the galaxy, do so from the perspective of a good shopper." That's one of the lines it uses, talking about where to set up shop around the galaxy.
Oh, man. I built a few ships one time. I don't know where they went, though.
I'd be happy if ships that I made went anywhere and did anything of any kind.
Yeah, so eventually when I got down to my one planet, it didn't have any shipbuilding or anything, so I couldn't move anywhere. So I was kind of stuck there too. So that wasn't good. When I was stuck on like Javin, the Javits Center, I was like stuck there.
It's
And like
Yavin. Have some respect
it's
for
a soft
it,
J,
buddy.
right? Yavin.
Yavin.
Yeah.
Could be.
So that was interesting. The game was incredibly not fun.
No.
And it was
wasn't interesting.
super frustrating. Oh, and it happened to me so many times that my mouse got stuck off the screen because like it did the same weird resizing thing with my two screens. So like my local recording I had on my other screen, but it would launch it off because it was changing the perspective. So it'd be zoomed in because it was changing to like 1024 by 750 or some shit. And so it'd be zoomed in on like a quarter of my screen. And it would launch OBS off of my viewable portion of the other screen. So I was like, shit. All right, let me see if I just want to make sure I'm recording and my levels are okay and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you'll see there's just big chunks of time where there's nothing happening on my screen because I can't get my mouse back on.
Because you can't actually do anything.
And I'm just like ramming my mouse back and forth and back and forth.
Praise.
Because eventually I saw at one time it worked where if I just go fast from one screen to the other, it whipped over.
Really?
Yeah, but it only worked one other time like that. And then it didn't work again.
I can't find the logic in that, but if it works, it works.
No, I think
computers
it just unlocked itself at a time when I was just.
Jim, you are a lover in a dangerous space time.
But yeah, it's a good game.
Jim, I found myself becoming the angry video game nerd during trying to play this game.
Yeah.
One of my notes says, "Is this even a game?"
Yeah, in a way, it's not.
I wrote, "This is one of the most fucked games I've ever played."
Yeah.
And I go, "It seems like there's a game happening, but I'm not involved."
No, the game just happens and you're there.
And I also have, "This shit must be broke because this is ass." And I think that was about the actual fighting sequence.
Yeah, the fighting thing was so stupid. You couldn't. I eventually I was able to tell my
Apparently not
ships how to
broke.
target other ships, but they wouldn't like move. I guess because I never built any like fighting ships. I just had like transport carriers that were fighting your ships, and they were just getting fucked up every time.
There could have been like ships in the ships, and like also you have to like tell them you have to tell them what kind of ships they should be attacking. I don't know why you have to make that decision. It's
probably for enhanced strategy, right? You're like, oh, do you want to attack like the overlords, or do you want to attack like the Zerglings? You know,
right? Which is not from this game.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, you know, you get the idea.
Yeah,
it's really just like, okay, let's do something as a change. I would like to say some things that I enjoyed about this game.
Okay.
I already mentioned one before. I liked it. It all seems like it was all canon, and I like when like series like this take from the books, because I feel like the books usually, you know, they're in the background and like only the real true fans know about all the stuff that happens in the books for any like series. If it's a movie or TV series,
okay,
there's stuff going on in those books. Like Jim, you've almost read Shadows of the Xel'Naga, right?
I have read it.
Well, we'll have to fact check that. We'll have to ask Carrie to do some reading comprehension questions.
I don't think I still have a copy of the book, though.
Well, there is multiple StarCraft books, but anyway, yeah, there's plenty of Star Wars books. Sorry,
I was thinking of StarCraft. Sorry, you switched so far back and forth between the stars.
Yeah, and I just like when they used to like, just like the newer TV series is the Star Wars ones. I won't even talk. I'll speak as very vaguely because Jim hasn't seen them. They also keep things to lore and go.
Attack of the Clones? Is that what you're talking about? Those animated series?
The TV show. Oh, that does too, actually. So that's good. And I think Star Wars does a lot.
Oh, you're talking about Mandalorian? Whatever it's called?
Yeah, the Mangled Galorian.
Yes.
And the Book of Boba Fett also as well. Shout out both of those. And whoever watched that. Right there with you. Jim, we're not going to get into it, how he hasn't seen them. And he eventually will. But what year will it be? We don't know.
What decade will it be?
Yeah, well, we don't know. Okay, so I also mentioned that I liked the Encyclopedia. I said that before. And there's a lot of care put into this to bring a lot of information. It's like crazy stats and backstories and like this system and everything you could want is in there. If you're a really big Star Wars fan and somehow this kind of game works for you, you're loving it. You got everything you want. You have complete control. You're dominating the galaxy. You have all kinds of things. I had one little problem, although I'm trying to talk about positive things. The art style of the pictures in the encyclopedia was strange. Because sometimes it was 100% drawn. Sometimes there were pictures. And sometimes they mixed them together. Like when they airbrushed George into a picture.
I think they just did whatever they could. I mean, I don't know.
It was weird. Besides that, I liked that. Jim, what's something that you liked about this game?
Right.
We're looking at positives.
You could click on exit the game and you let you leave.
And you wait the 8 seconds while your screen goes ballistic.
It goes. Yeah. There weren't too many things. I liked their ambition. How about that?
Yeah.
If we take a step backward, I liked that there were a lot of things you could do, but the problem is you didn't know how to do any of them.
What they were.
Yeah, or even that they existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like
many things that I liked. Yeah.
When I was playing, I felt like a supportive partner who doesn't understand like what their partner's into. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you like it, honey. Like, because it seems like whoever made it probably likes that kind of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's
like a roller coaster tycoon situation.
Hey, what do you mean by that?
Well, he really liked trains, didn't he? And he made a train game.
Yes, that's true. Which you can also go back and watch our previous episode on Roller Coaster Tycoon if you go to cdromp.rongilbert.com. Don't CD-ROMP.
Go there.
Only.
Go now.
No,
Quick.
We don't
Limited
have
time
that
only.
subdomain. Yeah. Whew. That was honestly the hardest part of this entire show that we've done. Getting myself to play that. And I'm going to be honest, even while reading the manual, I didn't get to 3 hours.
I didn't get to 3 hours either, but I definitely got it. I did not want to play anymore. I got everything.
Semi-truthful 2 hours and 45 minutes, including reading the manual. And I think that's as best as anybody could really ask from me. Honestly, I felt a little bad because I'm normally the get 3 hours thing, but you guys don't fucking understand. This game is so unplayable. It's not broken. It's together. And that makes me even more mad. Like, if it was glitchy and broken, that's one thing. But, like, it seems to work. It's just, like, nobody knows how to work it. And, like, I couldn't read the whole fucking manual. I tried so hard. Eventually, once I was, like, 60 pages in, I'm like, what am I doing? what's happening and why. I can't put all this information together. I did learn a couple things, like on the main screen, the little icons that I thought did nothing, like a humongous game, actually your settings.
Okay.
On the top left, there's like 3 different ships, and they are representative of difficulty levels. Didn't know that.
I don't know either. I didn't know that either.
Other such things. So, I mean, that was our first Star Wars game on CD-ROMP. There are many. They're not all, stellar.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How did you come to picking this game? Why don't you give everyone a little insight as to how this happened? Because I'm sure that's what people are going to ask me if I don't know.
Yeah, I had looked at a Star Wars game before. There was I knew was a good one. Sure. And I was thinking about saving that one. And then I was just, usually I just kind of pick a year that I want to do and see if I can find either a game that's good or a game that's bad.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
No, I did not know that this was going to be a bad one. But I knew that it was a Star Wars game, and I knew I wanted to do a Star Wars game. Yeah. But I didn't want to I won't even tell you the name of the other one that I was thinking of to keep it, keep it secret, keep it safe.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at games from 1998. They're just games that released, and I had never played this game, and I'd never heard of this game. And I was like, all right, I'd wanted to do a Star Wars game. And the other game that I was thinking about that was not Star Wars, I didn't feel like doing, because I got to look into it a little bit more, because it looks like we can only play the remastered version, and then we wouldn't be able to critique the graphics. And so.
Okay.
And so I was like, yeah, I've never heard of this game. I was like, how bad could it be? This is how bad it could be.
This is it. Could be.
As Huey Lewis would say, I'm pretty sure that was a Huey Lewis song. This is it. Is that Huey Lewis?
How does it go?
This is it. I don't know.
No one's gonna ever hit you down.
No, hold on.
Send me it later. I can't remember that one. I'd say out of all the games we played, this is the only one where I wouldn't. If you didn't play this at one point in the past and fucking love it, like wake up every morning, like remember those Star Wars Rebellion days? Don't go back and play it. I think even if you liked it then, don't go back and play it now. If you've never played it, don't go back and play it now. If you're stranded on a desert island and the only thing that you can do is play Star Wars Rebellion or whack off with sand.
I would play that. I would stay away from that. I would eschew from sand.
I'd get the sand going real quick. It was so frustrating.
Bob, I'll be honest with you.
I was going to get drunk, but I was worried that I would have fucked up the screen recording.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's just one button because I have OBS, but
I mean, I have that too. That's what I'm using. But I thought
it's one button.
I know, but
the file path is set. The levels are set.
Jim, I fucked up one button before.
We've actually fucked up one button many times.
A number of times. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let me keep my wits about me. So it was painful.
Yeah. I mean, that was the game.
We did Star Wars Rebellion. I'm so sorry for all of you, but at least this time around, you got to see some of it if you were on YouTube, so you know what you're dealing with, and you're getting a warning. If you see it on Steam, leave it on Steam. Back away.
Run away.
Yeah. Unless maybe you like text-based games a lot and you think, hey, what if there was a message board and emails and sounds and a robot never stop talking?
Right.
Guess what, friend? I got the game for you.
Yeah, this is for you.
And the tax collector waits for us all. Jim, final words?
Death.
Or did we just final words?
I think we final worded it. I think that was the words.
I got to be honest. My energy is very defeated right now.
Right, because the game was so defeating. I felt like the mole in Whack-A-Mole. It was just whacking me off constantly.
Yeah, but that could be good.
No, I don't see how that could be good.
That's fair.
I don't understand.
I don't understand what you mean by that.
Yeah.
So we did it. Well, we're now at the part of our show where we talk about the game for next week.
Tell me, brother.
Okay. So
tell me.
Before I get into that game, if you have a game that you'd like us to play, one that you liked and loved and want more of, please send us an email to theboys@cdromp.com. We want to know what the game is and we want to know why, if you don't mind sharing. Was it a game you used to play? What did you like about it? We'll read it on the episode when we review it after the fact. Well, actually, I'm the reco master, so I'll read it and have it in my clutches and I'll read it to Jim as I announce the game next time. And we want to share these games with you, games that you love. And also, if you haven't done so, leave us some comments somewhere on the individual episodes, or send us an email, whatever you want to do. We want to hear what you thought and suggestions for the show and things we could do. The show's for you guys. We're sharing these experiences together, so we want to make sure that your voices are heard. Power to the peephole. Okay.
Power to the gamers.
Next week, power to the gamers. Gamer glove. Because normally I say gamer girl. Okay. Next week, I have a game for us.
Okay.
God damn it.
What?
My fucking computer erased the name of the year of the game with ages. There's
Can you control Z?
No, because I unplugged my keyboard.
Oh.
And well, either way, I know what the game is, and I think I know the approximate year. I saw a couple different things. Okay. Next week's game is a reco from CD-ROMP Watcher, Gonzo Green.
Okay.
Who was just mentioned at the beginning.
His second.
Of this episode.
Wow.
No, well, yeah. So what happened was he was supposed to get credit for this first one.
Okay, fair enough.
I went to his second one on the list.
It's his first official, second unofficial.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on the board betwixt. Mm-hmm. And he wants us to play Doom.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
So what I found was it's called The Ultimate Doom, I think.
Okay.
I used to have it on screen. Now it's just H's. On Steam. And from what I can tell, it's the first Doom and an extra map that's added or something like that. But from what I could tell,
I'll ignore the extra map. I'll close my eyes and ears.
I would think it's all right. We're not going to go back and play that one extra map. So if you make it that far, go ahead.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be the easiest way. I looked on the torrents and stuff as well, and I probably could have found maybe a more.
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we've exhausted our easy methods.
And then it would also make it difficult for you guys out there, the
true,
viewers, to play along as well. So this is just like Roller Coaster Tycoon, this game Doom. A lot of people have actually mentioned this one.
Yeah.
This is one of the top selling video games of the 90s, I'm sure. And I will go off and do the research and tell you next time. So if you would like to play along from the time that you're listening or watching this until when we do the next episode, get yourself your 3 hours in. Or after the fact, if you listen to that episode,
Bob, or
if you feel like you got it.
If you get it, you get it. I mean,
if you play one level of Doom and feel like you get it, maybe do a little bit more than that. You know?
Okay.
Be respectful about it. You know, this is a gentleman's game. Or a
Whittleman.
Scott Whittleman's game.
Yes.
You know, there's a level of honor involved. Jim and I know, you give it your best.
We know.
You give it like a reasonable go.
The old college try.
Don't beat the dog over the head with a dead horse, is what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's CD-ROMP. We'll see you next time for Doom. Appreciate you guys stopping in. For my family, yours. We'll keep on romping.
You keep on stomping. Is that what we say? I don't know.
We don't know what we say yet. Yeah.
You keep on.
City of Compton.
Yeah.
Later, gang.
Bye. Peace.